Good evening, everyone. I'm Connor.
And I'm Wyatt.
We got a ton of news for you tonight, so sit back and relax because you're watching the Yank Tank. Starting off with, of course, some MLS news. I think we got to talk about some big games this week, especially Portland versus LA.
It was a great game. Portland started off scoring early. Adi had a great goal.
Excellent. Yeah.
Portland was really creative that
On the
game. They just had
outside.
some great passes. It was just confusing LA all over the field. It was
They took some
wonderful.
chances and they played a little risky, but I thought it was very tactical and very skillful. So I'm pretty impressed with Portland's performance. Los Angeles, they played, I guess, typical Los Angeles football. They passed it. They made some mistakes here and there, but they scored when they needed to. And unfortunately for the Portland Timbers, in the end, LA happened to snatch one in stoppage time. But what are you going to do? That's why we love the beautiful game. That puts Portland and LA giving them 1 point after the draw, of course, with LA winning against Chicago and Portland drawing against Real Salt Lake the week before. But I think FC Dallas is clearly leading the boards right now. The only team in the MLS to win back-to-back in the first and second week. I'm pretty surprised. I was disappointed that our fan favorite, the Toronto FC team from Canada, couldn't beat Columbus. Columbus, they played well.
Caused an upset.
Yeah.
Toronto are so stacked.
Toronto's very good. I was very disappointed. I really thought Toronto was going to come out this season really strong. I mean, they didn't play too terribly. Ended up losing 2-0, and same with Seattle. Seattle ended up losing to San Jose. I mean, Chris Wondolowski, though, great forward, and he played well himself. So there's nothing much you can do but just stare in amazement at FC Dallas. I mean, Blas Perez is currently tied with Clint Dempsey for 3 goals in 2 weeks or 2 games. I mean, FC Dallas is coming off to a great start, and they got my favorite player in the MLS, Castillo.
I think we should talk about how good David Villa was in the New York City game.
True. David Villa played very well.
He was wonderfully in form, had a goal and an assist, put New York 2-0 win.
Yeah, and their home opener of Yankee Stadium. And as a Red Sox fan, it does kind of hurt to watch some players play the beautiful game of football in Yankee Stadium. But it's good to see New York City starting off, and as a new franchise, along with Orlando City, are currently topping off the East at 4 points. I mean,
pretty impressive.
Great for these new expansion teams to definitely show their dominance and assert their power in the first opening weeks of the MLS season. So I'm very excited to see how the season will go and how these new teams will play, especially with Kaká and David Villa.
Let's talk about the expansion talks in the MLS right now.
Oh yeah, it's some huge expansion talks between Minnesota FC, isn't that right, in the NASL?
Yeah, Minnesota. They're currently in the NASL, the league below the MLS in America. They're trying to get a MLS team, trying to make a bid for that. Yeah, trying to get a new home stadium in Minnesota.
It'd be huge. I mean, we know that the MLS is looking to expand to 24 teams, which would be 4 teams added on from now by 2020, and that could mean teams in anywhere. I mean, possibly Miami, which would be awesome. I know David Beckham was trying to start that off, and Las Vegas, I heard, was in the running for a bid. That'd be pretty cool. Sin City having an MLS team, but we'll just have to wait until 2020 and see what the MLS plans to do. Hopping over on the other side of the pond, our Reds took on the Welsh, beating Swansea 1-0 with an amazing goal by the in-form man himself.
Pure luck. Jordan Henderson. It was a missed tackle by the Swansea defender, and it was just a little flick into the goal.
Nice chip. Jordan Henderson has scored in the last 3 games. He's stepping up. I mean, when you put that captain armband on his shoulder, on his arm, he knows what he's doing.
Not gonna lie, Steven Gerrard is a little down in form. If you look at the stats, they just weren't working too well with him. I mean, Henderson if you just look at it, he's doing more for the team right now.
Well, Gerrard's older. He's at the end of his Liverpool career, but he's going to head over to the MLS and play with the Galaxy. And Henderson's going to step up to the plate as captain of Liverpool, and I think he's going to do great things, possibly a Champions League final in the near future, hopefully. Oh, did you hear something?
I didn't, actually.
All I'm hearing
just the wind.
is Bradford City. You know, Bradford City lost to Reading. A little disappointed, but you know, Reading will have to go on and play Arsenal. It'll be a tough game. Bradford City did, however, beat.
What team was that?
What
I don't
team?
remember what
I
team
don't.
that
I
was.
don't remember. Was it a team of blue coloring? I believe a team from a city, possibly London. Maybe London. Maybe a team with a manager who has his head kind of shoved up his butt.
Who we don't like.
We don't happen to like him. May or may not. Was this team, that team, you know, Chelsea?
Chelsea.
Why don't we bring in Dumb and Dumber to elaborate? All right, now we have our Chelsea fans here with us. You know, as Chelsea fans, tell us how your week's been going so far.
Week's been it's been interesting.
It has been very interesting indeed.
Of course, we had some very dodgy referee decisions as usual that always seem to surround Chelsea.
Really,
But,
I
Are
didn't know
they
this
talking
season.
about the PSG loss?
I think they might be.
We
a
didn't
little
lose to
bit
PSG
salty.
actually.
We drew PSG.
We drew.
Again.
We did draw.
Drew, but
But they did take you out on
They
aggregate.
did
So
take
technically
you out.
lost because you are out of the
Well,
Champions
no, we
League,
drew
which
with them.
means you lost. You lost.
But actually, which in the grand
lost.
scheme of things is not a bad thing because we really weren't set up right to win the Champions League this year. Even though I would have liked us to go all the way, but it wasn't going to happen. And it just opens us up to win the Premier League. So
As Mourinho did say, now we have to focus on winning the Premier League. Very, very good sight from the men not to let it be clouded by a defeat. Honestly, very good manager skills. Very good manager skills.
so another great week.
Idiot.
Doesn't bench his best player.
I'm so confused. Other news though, however, besides, you know, getting knocked out of the Champions League, isn't there a certain wanker of a certain week
Who
that-
should be named this evening?
Yeah, we could do that. Arsene Wenger? No, sorry. Actually, yes. It is from our good friends at PSG, the Swedish hitman. Couldn't hit a barn door, but
the legend,
The legend.
The legend.
Sweetest legend.
he's a legend.
We all love him here.
Zlatan.
Deep down inside.
Zlatan's a legend.
Well, you know what? When you throw a temper tantrum like he did for losing,
After a loss to
and,
Marseille,
you know, throwing your shirt on the ground, it is just idiotic. In fact, you are the wanker of the week.
yes, because not only did he go on to say that France does not deserve PSG, but then he throws his PSG shirt on the ground. One of the most disgraceful things you can do in the game of football.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it was just a misunderstanding. I don't think we can hate Zlatan. Zlatan will always be in our hearts.
And he will always be Zlatan. There is only one Zlatan.
There's only one Zlatan.
Well, he'll probably end up signing for Chelsea next season because he loves to be with Mourinho. Isn't that right, darling?
Yep, that's Mourinho right there, sleeping on Zlatan. Zlatan will never go to Chelsea.
But you know, if we go back to talking about the Premier League and a great week, we actually had our friend George Boyd from Burnley
Thank
did us
God
a
for him.
massive favour. Open the door a little bit for Arsenal, so people are saying, don't believe it myself because
1 point behind
even-
second place, and we're coming. You know it, you know it, you know it, I know it, she knows it, it's happening.
And so
Second
do
place.
Monaco.
Road to second.
You know what? I'm having a flashback to a certain day last year in late March. You know, was it
Maybe you shouldn't speak of this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No. It was 6. 6.
Was it? Because you're not interesting.
And we were there.
Oh my God, we were.
We were there.
Oh my goodness, we were indeed there.
We were there.
To watch 6 goals
You know who finished above Chelsea last
go
season?
past Wojciech Szczesny.
A certain
That beautiful
a certain
day
team-
in West London.
A certain team finished above Chelsea last season.
But we're talking about this season, and
We're
that's
talking
not
about
going to
this
happen this
season.
year. As we
With the lack of Fernando Torres and the lack of a 36-year-old striker by the name of Samuel Eto'o, who is going to play in Turkey.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Anyways,
However-
this argument is futile. I believe.
I understand.
I believe this argument is
Because
futile.
we're right.
We're talking to brick walls that happen to be the color blue. So
The proper color.
I think we should drop this and send our viewers home and have a safe good night. Good night, everyone. I'm Connor.
And I'm Wyatt.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Grant. And keep the blue flag flying high.
Don't do
Keep
that.
that blue
Never.
flag flying very
I
high.
swear, if you keep that blue
Up in
flag
the
flying
sky.
high,
Never do that. Never do that.